Hey guys, we're live. I'm Jeff with eBay Addicts, and today my guest is Derrick, Fundamentals of Side Hustling. How are you doing, bro?
I'm good, brother. How you doing, man?
Oh, we're just trying to get it together, bro. So I'm sorry, guys. We had to advertise us starting today at 3, but we're on 2 different time zones. Derrick is way over in California, and I'm in Tampa. So the whole time zone thing sometimes catches us by surprise, man. But how is your day going, bro? Thanks for coming on and hanging out with us for a little bit.
No problem, man. I appreciate it. Sorry about the delay, man. You know, life happens, and I got caught up.
I understand. I understand. When he messaged me, I was in the shed pulling orders. He's like, "You ready to go live?" And I was like, "Man, I gotta go get a shower and change clothes and everything, bro." So we're trying to get it together, man. So go ahead and introduce yourself real quick, just in case people don't know who you are.
Yo, what up? My name is Derrick, Fundamentals of Side Hustling. I am the same on YouTube and Instagram. For those of y'all who don't know me, I've been reselling for a long time. If you're new to my channel, if you haven't subscribed to my channel is basically a bowl of everything. A little bit of life vlogging, reselling, cooking, dancing, just a little bit of everything. So you know, if you're want one niche, don't sign on to me. You're gonna get a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I saw your video the other day about a cooking video. I was like, "Am I on the right channel? Is this Derrick's cooking show? Like, what is going on, man?" But ain't nothing but love, bro. So you just do you, and if, whatever works for you. I'm not mad at you at all. So plus, you don't want to be the same as everybody else. You don't want to be like some robot that's reading off a teleprompter or whatever, right? You just gotta do you, right? So we got a bunch of people in the chat. Let's say hello to the people in the chat. I want to say hello to Regina is here. What's up, Regina? Thanks for coming on and hanging out with us today. We got my buddy here, Steve from Resell Dojo is here. Cali Reseller Louise is in the house. He says, "Hey, Jeff and Derrick." We got Dave here from eBliss Reseller Solutions. He says, "Hey, Jeff and Derrick. Thanks for coming by. I caught your podcast yesterday. You guys did a good job. I wanted to say hello to Cheap Find Gold Mines. I don't know if it's true, but they just posted on Instagram that they hit 1,000 subscribers. So congratulations to you guys. Give you guys a quick shout out. We got Antiques from Karen. Janet says, "New subscriber. Hey, thanks for coming by and hanging out with us. We appreciate you." Congratulations to you guys. You good? We got Jim's Closet Jims is here. She says, "There he is." I'm telling you, man, you're like a celebrity. How does it feel, Derrick, to feel like you're like some of the people's top #1 content creator? Like, how does that feel? Like when people look at you on your channel, does that make you feel a certain way when they're like, "Hey, people are turning in to see you, like you're their top content creator, almost like you're a superhero, like you on the Mount Rushmore of reseller channels"? How does that make you feel when people say that?
Not at all. I would immediately say absolutely not. If anyone knows me, they know me well, and I have repeated this several times. We're all just valuable people to whatever community that we're involved in, and just us being content creators in itself is a win for all of us. And I would never, and I mean never, put anyone on a higher plateau on this platform than anyone. I think everyone is valid in this segment. Whatever you're dropping out, all your information is valid, and I respect everybody at the fact that that they're putting out content. Now, I can't cuss on your show, Jeff, but so
this is a family friendly show, Derrick. I know how you are. You just let it fly like a sailor, bro. But we're trying to keep it PG-13.
No,
Can you do that for me just for one day?
Paid. Absolutely, man.
Right. Just for one day, let's do that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No, I just think everyone needs to appreciate everyone's effort that they put into putting out their videos and just keep it 100 that way.
All right, cool. Wanted to say hey to Cheap Find Gold Mines. Carter P is in the chat. Donna Diamonds is here. Hello. We have Antiques from Karen is here. We got a bunch of people in the chat today. The Flippin' Hustler is here hanging out with us today. Kelly Reseller Louise says, "Hey, Amy and Corbin, congratulations on 1K. Yeah, and he says, "Why do you say you don't know if it's true?" And you said the same thing. We hit 800. I'm just messing with you guys. That's all. Because when I started back in my day, go from 0 to 1,000 subscribers, it took me like 9-10 months. So it's a long grind. So I'm happy for you. I'm not hating on you at all. I'm not. Don't get that vibe from me. That's not what I'm saying. We got Geeky Nisha, the grounded entrepreneur, says hello, everybody. And Regina is here. Donna Diamonds is here. And eBliss Reseller Solutions. And so we got a full chat today. So go ahead, Derrick. I want to kind of talk a little bit because you said you've been a reseller for a while. So I kind of want to get into a little bit of how you got started into reselling. Because if you guys don't know, Derrick doesn't post his numbers all the time, but this was probably back in January, February. He posted something that was in Instagram and said he hit like $40,000 in sales in 90 days. And not everybody can do that. So we kind of want to pick your brain a little bit and kind of talk to you about what kind of got you started into reselling. Like, you don't have to give us the whole long form like you're writing a book, but you could just kind of tell us the beginning of how you got started into reselling, right? And kind of where you got started and like what caught your interest in it and how you kind of transitioned from working your regular 9-to-5 job into being an entrepreneur. Because not everybody can do that. Not everybody is built that way. And then also not everybody wants to put the work in. You know, I had this lady message me yesterday. She sent me an email and was like, well, I did a part-time work and I got a small check. And I'm like, well, you need to do more work. I don't know. I don't know. I'm doing the best I can to help you. But if you're telling me you're doing the minimum amount of work and you're getting a minimum paycheck, there's something wrong there. You know, I try to point you in the right direction, but I can't give you the hustler gene where you go out and hustle. You're going to have to do that part on your own, you know?
A lot of people
go ahead
don't have
and talk to us a little bit, Derrick.
Yeah, I started reselling. I just need to make some room. I'm a shoe advocate, and I need to make some more room for some shoes. And I had no more room, so I had to sell off some shoes. I'm not going to give them away. So I sold my first pair of shoes way back in the day, and they sold so fast, it just hooked me from that point on. So ever since then, I had been selling on eBay. And eBay was the first platform I ever jumped on. So that's kind of been my passion and my love is eBay. I transitioned to full-time reselling, the title full-time reselling, although you do full-time work on it anyway. I transitioned from a 9-to-5 last year, the middle of last year. It hasn't even been a year yet, and transitioned away from that. And I did that to just open up more time for myself, for me to focus more on my business aspects, my business journeys. And I just, it took a little time, right? You can't just hop out of it and do it overnight. There's calculated risks that falls within that. You got to make sure all the bills are covered. You got to make sure you have insurance. If you have kids, that's super important. You got to make sure you carry health insurance, and you got to be able to make sure you can afford all that. So it's really depends on your life. There's no structure to it. There's no formula you can pull up and say, okay, if I do XYZ, this is going to work for me reselling. No, it doesn't work like that. Everyone's life is a little different. So you just got to figure out what's best for yourself and ensure that you can cover those bills and you're not putting your family at risk, with your quick decisions to jump away from a job, a 9-to-5. And I just don't like people. So I had to get away from working around a bunch of people, man. It just, I don't like ignorance and people running companies, and everyone dealt with it and or dealing with it right now. You're working for a company where they don't value the hard work you do. You're just another number. And you're working for, if it's a smaller company like I was working for, I was making good money, but the owner, some people just don't need to have companies. And the only reason why they have companies is because they have money. And because they have money doesn't make them a good person. It doesn't make them a good leader, and it doesn't make them a good owner. And when you feel like you're smarter than everybody in the room and you understand the business a little better than they do, it's time to go. And that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, I understand. I remember when I was working my regular corporate job and I was there doing my whole 9-to-5, and they got to a point where they were bringing in, managers and supervisors, and they were trying to tell me what to do. And I was just like, hold on, time out, bro. Like, I've been doing my job for 10 years straight. I got way more college credit hours than you do. You know what I'm saying? I got way more stock in the company than you do. I've been here for 10 years, and I just had this attitude like, bro, you can't tell me nothing, man. Like, you don't even know what time it is. You don't even know like where you're at or what's going on, and you want to come in and tell me how to do my job, And I've been here for 10 years. So where's your plaque that says you've been doing my job for 10, 20 years out here in 100-degree heat? You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like I'm loading 10 trucks a night. You couldn't even do one, and you want to come tell me how to do my job. So I understand totally, completely. So when did you get to the point where you were just like, hey man, I think this is kind of the tipping point where I need to kind of do my own thing. Like, what kind of led you to that point? Because, you know, you were at this job, you had your boss that felt like he knew everything, and he knew what was best for everybody. He thought he was the smartest guy in the room, and he wasn't. And you got tired of maybe taking orders, and you was like, man, let me jump away and do my own thing. So how did that happen for you? Like, when was the point where you're just like, all right, I'm gonna figure this out, and I'm gonna put my 2 weeks notice in and bounce out of here. Like, how did that work, Derrick?
Yeah, it's just, you'll feel it. It's hard to really just say that moment, but you'll feel it. Yeah, you're mentally, you'll feel it. And I feel like I had the business acumen to get out and do almost anything I wanted to do. I've always talked about it, and I made a point to myself. I was like, well, last year was the year I said I was going to do and stop talking. And I made it a point to do that, regardless on what job I was at. I wasn't going to be there at the end of the year. And I had that conversation with my family that, you know, it's time for me to jump out and do what I like to do and do what I want to do, as long as it's a calculated risk. And I crunched everything and did all the numbers. And it's crazy that, you know, a lot of people don't want to take that leap. And that's the hardest part, is just jumping out there doing it. But if you really sit down and plan it out, you can't go wrong. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your own hustle, your own drive, that you can make it work. And you got to let go of that crutch. That crutch is at 9 to 5. If you're trying to go full time, any type of business, you have to believe 100% in yourself that you're going to succeed. And you're not going to let nothing happen in life that's going to let you fail at it. You're going to do whatever you got to do to let you fail at it. And to not let you fail. When you have a family, if that's not motivating enough for you, I don't know what else can motivate you, because you definitely don't want to wake up one day and not have enough money to pay the bills. That's definitely not a grind that I would put on anyone. And as a man, I've always felt, as a man, although times have changed, as a man, you got to get out there and support your family, period. You can't be sitting on your butt expecting a lady to pay for anything for you. You as a man, you got to get out there and support your family. And that's whatever I was going to be working for myself. It was picking cans up. If it was out there shaving and painting rocks, I don't care what it was going to be. I knew I was going to jump out there and do it.
Right, but you were just like, hey, I'm going to figure this out one way or the other. You're just like, I've got to make this transition. Hey, guys, we got a ton of people in the chat, so I'm going to say hello to people in the chat. But if I missed you, I'm not doing it on purpose. We just got a bunch of people in the chat today. So if you have questions for our guests, drop it in the chat, and we'll get to it. I wanted to say hey to Javela Flips. Annie is in the chat. We got Lewis Moore III. Sounds like a no cap segment. We have Ella is in the chat. Save Here First is here hanging out with us. Kelly Reseller Louise is here. Meritic 7. We got Regina is in the chat, and we have Cheap Fine Gold Mine. Sometimes you have to learn to like people that you don't enjoy. Networking is the key to being successful in any business. I was the same way. I didn't enjoy being around a bunch of people, but learned to. So we got Carter P is in the chat. We got Steve is here from Resell Dojo. And I want to say hey to Antiques from Karen and Donna's Diamond. So if you have questions for our guests, drop it in the chat. I wanted to say hey to Rescue Resell. He says, I found you. So, hey, guys, if you have questions for our guests, drop it in the chat. We'll get to your questions. So, Derrick, I kind of wanted to talk to you. When you sit down and talk to your wife about it, say, hey, you know what? I've been doing this whole job thing for a while. I kind of want to transition to being, like, self-employed. Like, does she have your back? Like, yeah, let's go do it. Or is she just like, well, hold on. Like, what about insurance? What about 401k? Like, what kind of conversations did you guys have? Like, when you got to sit down and look at crunch the numbers?
I think what it all boils down to is just showing that you already know what you know. You already know what you're doing. At a certain point, you're going to talk about it for a long time, and then you gotta prove it. So I've been more so proving it for myself than anything. And if you're in a partnership, a relationship, a marriage, a living situation, whatever situation you in. Those are conversations, regardless on if you want to have them, that you have to have, because it's going to affect both of you in either a positive way or a negative way. So she supported it. She never, when I first started reselling, just like almost any reseller, she's like, "What are you doing? Like, what do you mean you're going to the Goodwill to pick up something that's used and sell it online? That makes no sense." And then over time, she just learned to respect the hustle. Ever since we've been together, I've been hustling. This is not the only thing that I do. I have other things that I do that I never really talk about because it's not anyone's business. But she just learned, and she knows if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, and she doesn't question it anymore because she knows that my word is my bond. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I understand, and I believe you. So how many years were you kind of working part-time as a reseller before you decided to go full-time? Because I don't want people to be like, hey, I've been reselling for 2 weeks now. Peace out. I'll put my 2 weeks notice in and leave. Like, it takes a while for you to build up a backlog of inventory because it's like as you're listing new merchandise in your store, the old merchandise is selling off. And sometimes you might have your hot items that people want sell off, and then you're just left with stuff that's kind of stale inventory, and you have to constantly be kind of restocking the shelves or replenishing your eBay store. So how long did it take you to kind of build up your store to get to the point where you're like, hey, I think I can do this gig full time?
Well, I've been reselling kind of heavy for the last 10 years, like heavy, like saying I need to make X amount of money so we can take this trip, right?
Yeah.
And using reselling to kind of fund that. I think it took me really like 3 solid years of just diving in 100% heavy to build up an inventory. And I think where a lot of resellers go wrong and a lot of them fail is they'll find 1 or 2 places to physically source, and they think they're winning. Well, last year taught us that isn't true. Right? Last year when everything shut down, that taught you that everything wasn't true. You have to have at least 5 to 10 regular sourcing spots that you hit, and for you to comfortably say I can get inventory quite often and backfill what I've sold. And on top of that, that's not even comfortable. That's just saying, okay, I got these solid sourcing spots. You still got to get out and do a little bit more. So don't think you can just wake up in 2 weeks, say I'm going to go full time, because you are highly mistaken. You will fail immensely, rapidly, and then you'll be ready to blame someone else. No, take your time. Improve your methods, improve your standards, improve your routine, because everything's about routine. Improve your sourcing spots. Calculate your numbers, keep track of your numbers, and then set a plan. You can't set anything in the future if you don't have proof behind it. You got to prove that you can actually do it consistently, not just 1 year. No, consistently. It has to be multiple years.
Yeah, I was just going to say something different, because that's also some of these sourcing spots that you go to, like anytime they can snap their fingers and raise their prices up, or they may go out of business, they may pack up and move, whatever it is. Sometimes one of the big problems I have when I go sourcing at brick and mortar locations, whether it be a pawn shop, thrift store, whatever, I'll go there and maybe I'll walk out and find 10, 15 items or 20 items and then head out. Well, when I come back next week, it takes them a while to restock the shelves. So it's not one of those things where, I can go there, 2, 3, 4 times a week. Sometimes you have to let the items restock. We lost Derrick. Oh, he's back. So that's what I was thinking. That's what I was saying is that sometimes, once you go hit up a sourcing location, it may take them 2, 3 weeks, a month or whatever to restock to get new merchandise in. Because then you're kind of picking through the same merchandise that was there a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So you got to have multiple different ways. That's why you look at maybe retail arbitrage, going to yard sales, estate sales, thrifting, going to Goodwills, pawn shops, online arbitrage. I do a whole lot of that. So they got to have other different ways of sourcing. Let me say hello to Regina is in the chat. We got eBliss Reseller Solutions is here. He says, numbers don't lie. We said 100% says we lost signal 3 and gained 2 spots, had to reconnect. People quit and places closed. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. That what did that guy say on that insurance commercial? Life comes at you fast, so everything may be smooth sailing one week and crazy the next. I want to say hey to Kelly Reseller. Louise is here. I want to say hello to Annie. We got Maya Flips is here in the chat hanging out with us. We got a question from Steve. He says, I want to know what Bolo ever did to Derrick to make him so mad at it. I don't know exactly what he means by that question. You know what he's talking about?
Oh my God. Hold on. Let me change my camera up for this. Yeah, like he knows I hate the word Bolo. I hate the word Bolo. And he just messing with me. He's sitting right. He's basically messing with me because he knows I don't like the word Bolo.
Well, it's different. It's different. Like Derrick lives all the way in California, so Bolo for him might be totally different than for me in Florida. Like we might be looking at total different items because it's not available everywhere. Like, for example, somebody that lives in winter climate up north, I may not be able to find the same kind of merchandise I can find here in Florida. Like it's going to be different depending on your location. Yeah. So I missed a few questions. We got Jen's Closet. Gems is in the chat. She says, how is the furniture store plan coming along?
Oh, so if one of my next ventures, not a furniture store, I'm getting a second storage. We work out of storage, Jeff, me and you both. I have my garage and then I have a storage that I have a lot of inventory in. And then I'm getting another storage that I want to start flipping furniture, just local deal furniture, because I have a couple of spots out here that sells furniture quite often and I can get it for a reasonable rate. So I'm going to get a secondary storage and start doing that. Jen, to answer your question, I have not dove into the buying of the furniture yet, but obviously the storage is really easy to pick up. I'm waiting till the end of this month not the end of this month, the end of next month to start really going heavy on that. Right now, I'm just getting everything set up.
Okay, cool. I want to say hey to the Flippin' Sports guy. Lewis Moore asked the question. He says, when you went full-time later, and did you think about going back to work or at least part-time? So when you left your full-time job to be a full-time reseller, was there a thought where you're like, man, maybe I kind of miss having this check coming in on Friday every week? Was there a thing where you thought about switching back to do like a little part-time gig or something?
No, I never even thought about it. I did too much number crunching to know that it was feasible. The only thing I miss is the people interaction. That's really it. Not people per se, but the employee aspect of it, getting to know people a little bit more. I'm a huge stickler for watching people succeed. Like when people used to work for me, they loved it because I'm all about putting them first. Now I'm really hard. I'm a hard person, but they know everything that I did was for the success of them and the company. But I love watching people grow. I love watching people go into a new position and succeed at it. I love training. I love coaching. So I miss that aspect of it. That's why I'm trying to look for a little gig, even if I can do it for free, on track and field. I'm trying to become a track and field coach somewhere. Because I love track and field.
Bro, you're my brother, right? But you only have so many hours in a day, Derrick. This is something I'm not, because y'all know I try to keep it real here. I'm not trying to hate on nobody, but listen, man. At the end of the day, like when you're out here and you're editing, you're putting out YouTube videos because you're a full-time dad, you're a full-time reseller, and then you're also a YouTuber. There's only so many hours in a day. So at a certain point, you're going to be coming up against the ceiling, like, bro, I just need a couple more hours in a day. Like, to me, my thing is I've got to get my good 8 hours of sleep in, or I'm going to be like a walking zombie the next day. You know what I'm saying? So there's only so many hours in a day, and you got to have a little bit of downtime to just do you and be you. So that's the thing that you kind of like think about when you're self-employed, or you got a lot of stuff going on. Just think like, man, I only have so many hours in a day, and you might be cool with it, but somebody else in your family, your wife might be like, hey, we need to have time for us. Or your kids might be like, hey, you don't spend time with me no more. You're out of this track and field thing. So it's kind of a balance. So could you talk a little bit about that? How do you go about balancing, being a YouTuber, being a full-time family man, and also being a reseller? Talk to me about how that balance works for you.
I think that's the hardest part of it all. I think if you're going to go into, let's just first say talk about reselling, because that's what we're talking about. if you were to go into reselling full time, obviously it's a lot of time that it takes for you to be successful. The hardest part is now you're working for yourself. There's no structure behind it. When you're working for someone, there's structure. You know when to take your breaks. You know what time, for the most part, what time you start, what time you get off. There's certain things that are set in place to keep you in line. You don't have those walls anymore. So when you're working for yourself, you gotta treat it like your old 9 to 5 as far as scheduling things out. You got to be very detailed on that, and you got to be specific. I say, I'm going to do this at this time. I'm going to do this at this time, and then kind of work things in between there. Because if you're not, you're going to be kind of wandering around in circles, not getting anything done. You're going to be doing a lot of busy work, but no important work. So you got to be really, really, really structured in that piece. My balance is one of the main reasons why I wanted to work for myself. Is if I'm going to put in all these hours, I'd much rather be doing it for myself than somebody else and benefiting from it that way. When I'm here working at home, I can literally walk right here in that door back there and be in my house, spending time with my kids and my family. That's the great thing about it. No matter how many hours I have, I can always step away and go spend time with my family. I don't have to ask my boss if I can take this vacation that I want to take this coming up weekend. Those are the great benefits of working for yourself. So balance is hard, man. You can't teach somebody how to have balance because everyone has different things that are happening in their life. But if you're going to do it, that is going to be the hardest part for you, is creating a structure and platform for you to succeed. Just the time in the day, you got to balance it out. So before you know it, you work 18 hours and got nothing done.
Right. And you might get caught up on something on social media, on Facebook or Instagram, or you sit down and say, let me play this video game for 30 minutes. 30 minutes turns into 2 hours. And all of a sudden you're like, man, I got no listings done. I got to get all these packages shipped out. I got to edit a video. So that's what I was just saying. Like, I'm kind of like this bird on your shoulder. Like, hey, Derrick, you only have 24 hours in a day. Because I'm the same way. Because I'll be sitting here like, man, I want to do this and I want to do this and I want to do this. And I'm just like, wait a minute. When are you going to sleep? When are you going to get your 8 hours of sleep in? Because I've got to get my good 8 hours of sleep in, and I've got to have, a really nice hot meal and a nice hot shower. And as long as I got that, I'm good to go. But if I don't, I'm just, I'm like, it's like you wake up on the wrong side of the bed. You're in one of the moods. You're kind of cranky a little bit. So you've got to be able to kind of, schedule everything, So which brings me to the next thing I wanted to talk to you on real quick, man. Talk to me about your accountability board that you have. How's that going for you? Because I watched some of your videos and you have this accountability board like on the wall. Talk about all the numbers that you track for your eBay store, because maybe it'll help somebody. Because I almost look at it almost like, let's say an NBA player has a box score. How many points did they score? How many rebounds? How many blocks? How many assists did they get? You have like your own little scoreboard card at your house. Talk about that.
Yeah, I'm huge in numbers, right? Coming from corporate world, they push numbers all the time. They push, you hitting your goals and your standards, and that's how you get your bonuses and everything in retail. My board is real simple. It's a chalkboard, and it could be a dry erase board, whatever. And I track my active listings. I track my new postings. I'm gonna look over here at it. I track my gross sales, my net sales, the number of items I sold on that day, and that's on eBay, Facebook, Mercari, and Amazon. And I total it all up at the end of the week, and I have a goal in my head that I want to hit each week. And if I don't hit that goal, I'm disappointed. And if you don't have a goal you're aiming for, and you're not disappointed at the end of the week if you didn't hit it, then you're not going to be heading in the right direction. You gotta have something at the end of that tunnel that you're aiming for, and that's every single week. There's numbers that I want to hit, and if I don't hit it, then I can easily look back at my board and know exactly why I didn't hit it, because I only listed 10 things this week, or or I did cross list this day. And there's so many things I can look at this board and it's kind of my boss standing over my shoulder without it actually saying anything.
Right, but it's just a way for you to track your numbers and see how many items that I get listed today, because there's some people that's like, well, I can't control my sales. There are things that you can control. You can control, how many items you list, if you're going to put your items on promoted listings, what type of merchandise you're going to list, how many items you're going to source, what category. There's really a whole lot that's actually in your hands that you can actually directly control. That's going to, it's like you control the input. You may not control the output of when that item is exactly going to sell, but you can control the input of how many items you're going to list, what you're going to do to try to grow your store and all that. So let me say hey to a few people in the chat. I wanted to say hello to Rescue Resell. He says, same, Derrick, have multiple streams of income. Kelly Reseller Louise says, yes, having different streams of income is a must. I wanted to say hey to Javela Flips. Annie is in the chat. Regina is here hanging out with us. Ella from Save Here First is here. Resell Dojo is here. Lewis says, shameless plug, Resell Dojo will be live with me Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Awesome. Resell Dojo is a good guest.
He is.
Yeah. And it says, we do that. We pick up and take to auction houses. Yeah, man, I actually just bought some stuff at an auction house last week. If y'all get a chance, you could check out High Bid. You just type in what it is you're looking for and then type in your zip code, and you can get merchandise there for pennies on the dollar. I mean, I got stuff for less than a quarter a piece. Yeah. Meritic7 says, Derrick, what advantages do you have living in North Carolina that other resellers and their states don't have?
I think, man, I live in Sacramento. There's just there's so many things, so many different varieties of sourcing spots. There's yard selling all year long. There's estate sales all year long because of the weather. Yeah. It's the capital now, and being in Sacramento, a lot of people are moving out this way from the Bay Area. Now, that's horrible on the traffic aspect of it, but what that does for the economy is it boosts the economy a little bit. So more places are opening up. We don't have to worry about too many things closing down around here. There's just more and more and more opening. So that's, for me, that's a bonus. I will take that any and every day. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. There's just so many different places. Like, there's so many places I haven't even seen yet or have been to because I'm so stuck in the 10 that I've kind of grown accustomed to. So if any one of those dry out, I can easily jump out and find another spot.
Yeah, it's the same way where I'm at in Florida is that, it's warm year round. And I think Florida is like the third most populated state in the country. So there's constantly people moving down here, and there's constantly people that have second homes here in Florida. So maybe there's people that like maybe live in Canada and they have a second home in Florida, and the snowbirds, when they get ready to leave and go back up north, they don't want to take all their stuff with them. So I had some people before that would just give me a whole carload of stuff for free because they're like, hey, we're going to go donate it at the Goodwill anyways. We're leaving to go back up north to Canada. We don't have room in our truck or trailer to haul this stuff with us. Will you take it? Sure, I'll take it off your hands. So there's opportunities everywhere if you just go out and look for them. In whatever advantages you do have in your city or your state, just take advantage of it, because it may not be, you may not have snowbirds in your state, but you may have other avenues. You may have estate sales, yard sales. There may be really good thrift stores in your area. There may be church sales. There's stuff all around. So we got Antiques from Karen says, that's what I find in this community, brought back the people for me. We got Flippin' Fiasco says, hey, gents, I want to say hello to Kina is in the chat hanging out with us. Jen's Closet Gems is here. She says, would you hire an employee to free up some extra hours so you can do other things? So have you thought about hiring anybody, Derrick?
No, I've thought about it, but I would more so want it to be a family member. If anything, I'm huge on trying to elevate my family, and whether that be my side of the family or my wife's side of the family, it has to be a family member for me to bring anybody on. So.
Yeah, I hear you, man. We got a question here from Chuck. He says, what does Derrick do to unwind? Cooking, video games, knitting. You're not a knitter, are you?
Well, this sweater that I have on, I did this. No, I'm joking. I love
you're available for purchase, $29.99. Get the Derrick shirt now and the hand knitted by hand.
No, I love cooking, man. I love I love cooking. I love riding motorcycles. I love movies. Our movie theaters just opened back up after being closed for, however long the pandemic. So I look forward to jumping back up in there, having my hand into a salty bucket of popcorn. That's what I look forward to doing.
Oh man, that sounds good. That sounds like we just gained 200 calories just now. So, I want to say hey to my buddy BK from the Rockies. He's here. He says like, share, and subscribe. We got Jim's Closet Jims is here. Said BK says real talk, finding a balance. Never enough time in a day to fit everything in. I want to say hey to Geeky Nisha. I hope I didn't mispronounce your name properly. I do it all the time. It's not personal if I did. I wanted to say hello to Gravity Goods. He says, I hope you guys are having a good day. I wanted to say hey to the flipping accountant is here. He says, Derrick is the coolest. Just saying. I wanted to say hey to Go Topher. He says, Jeff and Derrick. Thanks for coming by and hanging out with us today.
Yeah,
Resell Dojo is here. He says, I'm making my 10-year-old help me out this summer. Cheap labor. Yeah, that's the plan. All you got to do is just give them like a little movie or something. Give them some pizza. They're happy. You can put them to work. And, also teaches them character. When they get older, they're going to be like, hey, wait a minute. I learned I don't have to go work at Burger King or McDonald's. I have this skill that I can take with me, and it's transferable when I get a little bit older. So Kina is in the chat. She says, wondering if anybody has had bad experiences with Goodwill employees. I had one be really hateful the other day, and I think basically because I'm buying a lot, she didn't want to deal with checking me out. Bad experiences everywhere, and I don't really have issues with the Goodwill employees. Sometimes I'll go there and say, hey, I found this remote and it doesn't have a tag on it. How much you guys want for it? And occasionally I do that, and I have people that speak Spanish because I'm in Florida and I don't speak Spanish. So when they start speaking Spanish, sometimes if it's like a $10, $15, $20 item, I'll just put it back on the shelf and leave because I'm not trying to create a controversy and argument over like a $10, $15, $20 item. But yeah, you're going to have conflict wherever you go, whether it's at a red light, maybe you're at the Goodwill, maybe you can just be minding your own business. I just try to be nice to people and try to avoid confrontation because I'm trying to have a good day. I don't want them to make me have a bad day. You want to have a bad day, you have a bad day over there. I'm doing it to me, Right. So Derrick, I want to ask you a few questions, man. Talk to me about your journey. I saw something on Instagram. It said something about Derrick is officially on Amazon now. Tell us what happened. Tell us the good and the bad. What happened with Amazon, and how has that been going for you?
Amazon. I have a love-hate relationship with Amazon because they were holding me down for so long. They didn't want me to open an account. My account was blocked after being open, like 12 hours. They shut it down. They said I had a previous account that sold some banned items. I have no idea. I guess it's a common thing that people get their emails stolen and people open up Amazon accounts and sell things they shouldn't be selling. They take the money and then, cut out. So I'm assuming that's what happened. They wouldn't help me. They wouldn't let me open it. So open one in my wife's name, right? Man, they must have the federal government working for them because they'll track down your whole family and shut everybody down. They shut hers down, and it was a big mess. Finally, they allowed my wife's account to kind of resell. So I've been on there. It's really simple. I just sell books fulfilled by merchants, so FBM. I don't ever plan it. I get it. Everyone's like, oh, you're gonna love it. Look, I get it. It's extra money. I'm gonna continue to do fulfilled by merchant. I'm gonna sell what they allow me to sell. I'm not too worried about getting ungated and all this. Right. I just want to sell my books because I have a source, a consistent source where I can get brand new books. So I want to continue to sell my books and let that be a kind of a side stream because I'm not trying to have that impede on my time. Right.
So, Derrick, we're kind of jumping around today, but I want you to talk about your YouTube channel a little bit. You have a show coming up tomorrow on Wednesdays. It's like your Humpday Hangout show with Regina. I saw Regina in the chat earlier. Talk a little bit about how that came about. And you seem to be pretty popular, man. Sometimes I'll go in the chat and there's, 30, 40, 50 people coming to hang out with you on your Humpday Hangout show. So talk a little bit about that. How did you, like, not how you started your YouTube channel, but how did this Wednesday show come about?
Man, we were just watching and we really started that show because we used to get on the show with Sumo Thrift, Marcus, They had a show on Friday nights, and we used to get on there and hang out with them, and I liked the whole vibe of it. It was so chill. And I was like, man, you know what? I want to do a show. And I'm going to do a show on Wednesday because there wasn't really nothing popping off on Wednesday. I was like, man, I want to do a show on Wednesday. And just like that, like I just decided I want to do a show. So I was thinking, I was like, who do I want to have? I don't want to do it by myself. I want to have somebody with me. Sat down and thought about it. First person that popped in my head was Regina. Now, me and Regina, they didn't even know each other. I watched Regina on YouTube. I feel like she was a good yin to my yang. So I reached out to her. She didn't believe me. She didn't believe I was serious. And then that next week, I hit her up on I think it was a Monday. I was like, yo, you ready for the show on Wednesday? She was like, oh, you were serious.
Right.
So we kind of started it from there, and we kind of progressed. We started off the show. We wanted to bring on a bunch of resellers because that's what we are. But, that's so narrow-minded in a sense, that there's so many hustlers out there in so many different levels. We said, we're going to take the reseller hangout out. We're just going to call it Humpday Hangout. We're going to invite all kind of people on the show from YouTube creators, from resellers, exercise, marijuana industry, just people who are out there hustling, trying to make money. We're going to bring them on, introduce them to everybody, and be a platform for people to get out in the community, whether that be reselling community or just community in general, the YouTube community. So that's what we did. It's been successful. It's continuing to grow. So I'm very thankful for that. I love it.
Right. Awesome. So Derrick, we don't have that much time left with you today, but I want you to kind of talk to me a little bit about some tips and tricks that can help somebody. If somebody is out here and they watch your YouTube channel or they follow my channel and they're like, hey, I want to get started in this reselling game, or maybe I'm doing reselling part-time. What would be maybe 3 or 4 tips, a piece of advice that you could give somebody that would help them kind of jumpstart their reselling business so they can jump out there and make some money? Like, what advice would you give them?
Man. I would say if you're going to do it, go all in and do it. Don't dip your toe in the water and then jump back out, because that's not going to do you any good. You can't just start it and then decide, come back, I'm going to do it next week, and then start it again. It doesn't work like that. Either you're going to go all in or you're not. Niche down. When you first start with something that you know. That way you already know what you're looking for. Meaning, if you know nothing about toys and you just starting and you go out and buy a toy, you're not going to know much about it. Although you can research it, you're not going to know much about it. You're not going to be passionate about it. Start with something that you're passionate about in the beginning, then slowly but surely kind of open up and go from there. Set a routine down for you. If you buy that stuff, you better post it. If not that day, then the next day. Do not start off buying a bunch of stuff and not posting it, because that's how you end up with all you're going to have is lost money sitting in either on your floor, probably on your floor, because when you first start off, you're not going to have a storage in it, but you're going to have a lot of lost inventory just sitting there. And believe in yourself, man. That's it. Believe in yourself. If you think you can be successful at it, you can be, because you already thought that. So just get out there and do it. Make your mistakes. No, y'all not perfect, and just go in 100.
Yeah. And the thing is that you don't have to need a bunch of money to get started. You could just start off with stuff around your house. You can start off with like Rally Roots, for example. They started off with $200. So if you just have $100, $200, you just want to get your business started and go out and start hitting yard sales and thrift stores. But yeah, I agree with you, Derrick, that it's easy to go out and go shopping to get merchandise, but it's not always easy to sit down and stay focused and say, okay, I've got to crank out 20 listings, 40, 50 listings and be consistent at it. Like, that's the thing that I think people struggle with is like, man, I've got to buckle down. and get all these listings cranked out and get these items listed. My thing is I'm trying to do is just get into a routine of like, 'cause I'm a night person. So I try to go at night the night before and pull all my items and stuff that sold the night before. So the next day when I wake up, I'm not running around like a chicken with my head cut off trying to look for all my items, but it don't always work out that way. Sometimes I'm working late or I've got other stuff going on. But yeah, just have some kind of a setup, whether you're a morning person, night person, figure out a way where you can go in your room, shut the door, get in, put your headphones on, listen to music, and crank out some listings, because that's the only way you're going to make sales is by getting the items listed on the platform. Let me give a shout out to a few people in the chat. We got Regina is here in the chat. We got Geeky Nisha says, I just went on Amazon FBA, rant on IG. You know what? I just did a rant video yesterday, and I got this close to publishing it, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do it, because I don't want someone to be a first-time viewer to my channel and be like, who is this guy? Where is he coming off with this rant? And I don't want to make a bad impression, so I had to let that one go. Sometimes it's okay to record it, and then you're just like, well, do I want to publish it? And you're like, nope, I'm gonna set this one out. I wanted to say hello to Janet. Says, I wish I could focus on one thing. Learning as I go is the way hard. Well, you can just kind of find a niche. Like Derrick said, if there's something that you love, maybe you love video games, you have a competitive advantage. Like if Derrick is a sneaker person, he knows way more about sneakers than I do. So if we both go to the thrift store, you know, he might walk by and say, oh, those are Nike Air Force Ones or whatever. These are worth $200 and they have it on sale here for $20. Like whatever it is you know something about, start in that area because you already have a competitive advantage in that one area. I wanted to say hey to the Lone Star Picker is in the chat. Jen says, end the show by giving us one of your top bolos. And I wanted to say hey to Save Here First and Nikki Pink Thrift is here. Hey, Ella says, thank you so much, Derrick, for having me on your show. And Geeky Nisha says, you pronounced it right today. And I want to say hello to Mike. So Derrick, man, you told everybody about your YouTube show that you have coming on tomorrow. We talked about eBay. We talked about Amazon. Talk to us a couple of things about what's going to be next for you. Like, what is it that you're going to be working on? You talked a little bit about having a storage unit to maybe start working with some furniture. What are some other things coming down the pipeline that you have coming for you later on this year?
This year, well, the main thing is the storage. I want to get that furniture thing set up. And and Jeff, I don't want to hear it, man. Look, I figured it out. I got the time set up. But I'm about to buy my first bounce house. Look, don't, Jeff.
I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to say. Go ahead. Do you? I'm not going to say nothing. No. I want to say something, but I'm not going to. Go ahead.
No. Let me tell you why. I'm going to buy one bounce house. I'm going to have it be a weekend rental thing. Just one. Weekend rental. You talking about super passive income. Bounce house is a super passive income. Super passive. Literally super passive. Doesn't take much time. You drop it all, pick it up. Just one. I calculated money-wise, how much that can make on the weekend for me. So I got that popping. And on Friday, I'm starting a new show on Friday, man. It's just me. And it's basically a question and answer show. I'm going to have different people jumping on. They can ask me a question, and I'm going to give them my unfiltered opinion on that question. So that's a new show. I will be dropping that thumbnail out here probably tomorrow, and it's going to be on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's a late night show, but it's unfiltered chat. If y'all want to come get true unfiltered answers to questions that you want to ask about anything in life, it don't matter what it is, I'm going to give you my honest opinion on it. So that's coming up on Friday.
It's the Dave Ramsey show for resellers. Just come ask Derrick a question. I mean, you don't know what kind of response you're going to get. Enter at your own risk. It needs to be like a warning logo or something.
It is.
Yeah, Derrick, you knew I wanted to say something, but all I was going to say is that I've actually seen people on like Reyes the Entrepreneur channel that have actually done that, where they've bought this bouncy house thing and they've rented it out. I'm not like rolling my eyes at you, bro. I'm just, the whole time thing is the thing that I just want you to keep in mind. So that's all I'm going to say, and I'm going to let that go. I want to say hey to the eBay hustlers in the chat. Nikki Pink Thrift is here. Kelly Reseller Lewis says, I have a candy vending machine business, always looking for different streams of income. And Keena says, I'm going to follow and watch you. Yeah, guys, tell them, everybody, where they can find you at. I have your links down
Peter.
below for YouTube and Instagram. All that stuff is linked down below. Tell them where they can come by and follow you at.
Yeah, Fundamentals of Side Hustling. It's spelled just like fundamentals. I corrected the spelling so you can actually look at it now. So Fundamentals of Side Hustling on YouTube, and then Fundamentals of Side Hustling on Instagram. There's an / in between each one of the words on Instagram. Just know, if you follow me, it's unfiltered. So if you're offended easily, I will much rather you not follow me, because I don't want you to be sitting there watching it with your grandma and then I come off cussing somebody out. I'm just unfiltered, man. It's my channel. I feel like people with YouTube channels, it's your channel. You should be able to do whatever you want on that YouTube channel, as long as it stays within the reasonable terms of YouTube. And you should enjoy it. The last word I'm going to leave with everybody: if you have a YouTube channel, you should enjoy dropping the content on your YouTube channel. If it becomes more of a job and you really don't feel the videos that you're dropping just because you got caught up in a niche, then you need to stop, because it comes out in your videos. It comes out if you're not coming off genuine. It comes out if it feels pressured and pushed. You have to enjoy the content you're putting out. If you can't sit down and watch that video yourself, I darn sure ain't gonna watch it. I'm just keeping it 100. So enjoy your own content, and if you don't, you need to change it up.
Right. Awesome, guys. Yeah, I know Derrick says numbers don't matter to him, but I see him post his numbers on Instagram. So try to follow Derrick. I want to see him get to 1,000 subscribers this year. I think he's around 700. So get a chance. I got his links down below. Go follow on YouTube and Instagram. And we'll see you guys later. You guys have a great day. I'm going to get out there and ship out all my packages. And go follow Derrick, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Catch you guys later. Bye.